Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Generative Geek. Today, I'm thrilled to bring you an exciting tutorial on building a smart career coach using AI. We'll use Streamlit and we'll run through a very exciting process where we'll first build a UI using Streamlit, which will collect input data of the student, right? So student profile, like, what are students aspirations, what is the previous experience, what kind of projects the student has done. Then we'll even have an input box for various career paths that the student is interested in. Maybe the student wants to become a DevOps engineer, maybe an AI engineer, maybe a system machine learning engineer, maybe a front end engineer, right? So various prompts, various paths, and then we'll feed all of this collected information and the path selections to ChatGPT, right? So basically to GPT 3.5 Turbo. And then what we'll do is we'll not just ask it once, we'll do 200 iterations on maybe 5 or 10 concurrent connections, right? So we'll get, let's say, 2000 results back, 200 results back. We'll then see what is the final output. I'll just quickly show you how it will all work. So let's say if this is what we are going to build. It will have three boxes. First, it'll ask you for your personal info, then it'll ask you for your previous experience and what are the various career path options you have. Next, when we press get career path options, it's going to make a call to the LLM and finally come back with what it thinks is the right option for you, right? Basis whatever results you have given, right? And it comes back and it says, hey, it believes, so this thing ran 100 times, and it thinks that 67 of those 100 times it believes a DevOps engineer is a better choice for this student, right? And then for the 23% it believes the cloud solutions architect is a better choice, and for 10% of the times it believes that the full stack developer is a better choice, right? So we'll go through this entire project. The beauty of this is we are going to make use of the batch operation. That's not something we have discussed in the past. So let's just get started. So I am now in my Visual Studio Code, and I have a new folder that I have created. So we are basically going to start from the scratch. I'm first going to, within this folder, prepare a requirements.txt file of all the libraries that I think are going to be useful for this project, right? So I'll need these are the libraries that I'm going to work with. So once this requirements.txt is done, given the fact that this is a Streamlit app, we'll need Streamlit, right? So oops, yeah, so we'll need Streamlit. Next, for all our OpenAI communication, I'm going to use LangChain. So I'll have LangChain and I'll also have LangChain OpenAI, right? So these are the three libraries that I'm going to work with. Next, I'll do Command Shift P, and I'm going to say Python create environment. I'm not using an existing environment. I'm creating a new environment so that if you are starting from scratch, you know how to create an environment when working on Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to create a virtual environment. So VN, and I'll select 312.3 64-bit. And these are the requirements that I want. These dependencies are what I want the environment to already have installed, right? So we are going to do this, and it's now creating the environment. Once the environment is created, what we'll do is we'll go back and start with a new main.py, right? So I'll create a file called main.py, and this is over the next 80 to 100 lines of code. We are going to build that entire application that you saw, right? So this is just a 100-line code project, but it'll give you a very solid understanding of how to make calls to, how to take user inputs, how to then parse the user input, send it to LLMs several times, take that data back, get it into, let's say, a pandas data frame, and then process those results and display those results, right? So this entire flow we are going to go through again, right? So the first step is how do you gather input data for student profile, right? So let's just get started, right? So our environment is created. I'll just go to terminal and I can see vn. I'll do a pip freeze, and we can see that pip freeze shows us several things, because while we install just the three of these, they have several dependencies within themselves, and all of those dependencies also get installed when you do a requirements.txt driven or any library you install, right? So now in our main.py, what we'll do is we'll first start with importing all the necessary libraries. So the first thing that I import is import Streamlit as st. That's my first import. And then what I'll do is I'll also, because I'll make use of pandas, I'll say import pandas as pd. And then from LangChain underscore OpenAI, from LangChain underscore OpenAI, I'll import chat OpenAI, right? So or LangChain underscore OpenAI dot chat models import chat OpenAI, right? I'm installing. I'm also importing these. Next, what I'll do is I'll import the core prompts. So I need a chat prompt template to work with. So what I'll do is from LangChain dot core langchain underscore core dot prompts import chat prompt template, right? So we'll need a chat prompt template to build our prompt. And next we'll also need output parser, because if you have not seen my other video which was around language translation, how to make use of JSON driven output parsers, you will learn a lot about output parsers if you watch that video. Today I'm not talking much about output parsers. I'm assuming you know about output parsers. So whatever output we get from LLM, we want it to be in a certain structure, right? So that's what the output parser will do for us, right? So from langchain dot output underscore parsers import Pydantic output parser, not the tools parser, Pydantic output parser, right? So that's what the output parser does. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to import OS, and I'm also going to import from, because we are making use of Pydantic, so I'll do from pydantic.v1 import base model, right? So I'm going to make use of this, right? Next, what I want to do is I'll also say from typing import optional. Uh, then let's what we'll do is we'll first set our environment key, right? So OpenAI will need a key for us. If you don't already have a key, maybe what you should do is go to platform.openai.com and get yourself a key, right? So get yourself a key. Go to platform.openai.com, and within this, if you log in, you will need to have a login. If you Once you have a login for this, you can then go in and get yourself a key. I'll quickly show you how to get yourself a key. So once logged in, you will be able to find your API keys, right? So you can just click on API key. If you don't already have a API key, create one. It will require you to have some money. So maybe what I'll suggest is, if you want, if you can just load yourself with, let's say, a little bit of money in this, you can have like maybe $5. We won't need more than even like 50 cents for this, what I'm teaching you today. Like 50 cents is also like too much of an upper limit. So once you have the key, bring your key, and what we'll do is we'll now use OpenAI's key to make a call, right? So I'm going to say set up OpenAI key, API key, and the way we do it is, because this is a Streamlit app. The one way is we could have had the python.onv library and set up a .env file and done it. But I want to teach you a new way today, because that way I have already talked about in several videos that I have done. Almost all of the videos have that. How do you use .env file to create your secrets without exposing them in the code? Today, let's just use a new method, because this is a Streamlit app. So I'll go and create a new file called .streamlit, right? Sorry, not a file. I'll create a folder called .streamlit. This is my folder. It's called .streamlit. And within the .streamlit folder, what we'll do is we'll have a file called secrets.toml, right? So within this, let's create a file called secrets.toml, right? So I hope you are able to see. Yeah, so secrets.toml. Now within secrets.toml, the way we'll use this is we'll first have a general, right? So we'll say, hey, this is within the general body, and my variable is called OpenAI underscore API underscore key, and within this double quotes you can paste your key, right? So I'm just going to paste my key. I'm going to pause this video, bring my key here, and then restart. So my key is here now, and this is how you set up your secrets.toml. Okay, so with this now, let's do. And guys, I have made some changes in the key. So even if I'm showing you this key will not work, right? So go get your own key. So with the key now set up, I'm back in my main.py. And here, what we are going to do is we are going to make use of the key that we have set up and call it here, right? So I'm going to say, hey, I want to set an environment variable, and that's why we imported OS. and that variable should be called OpenAI underscore API underscore key. And the way you actually get from Streamlit is Streamlit has a secrets manager. So we'll say st.secrets, and within that, our our section was called general. So it should be general, and then whatever is the name of your variable, right? So this is like a dictionary. So within that, I'm going to read OpenAI underscore API underscore key, because that's how I had set up, right? There was a general section, and within the general section, that's how my, so whatever is the section name and then your key name, right? So with this, now my key, and now I want to set up the Pydantic models, right? So with this basis what we are building, I'll now start defining my Pydantic models for career path options, right? Because what do we want finally chat GPT or GPT to return back to me is one career path, right? So we'll do several iterations, but I want it to tell me that, hey, if you remember the demo, right? I want it to tell me that, hey, okay, I'm going to give it some personal information, I'm going to give it some past project experience, and I'm going to give it various career paths that I am interested in, right? And I want it to return back only one career path that it thinks, bases all of the information that I've given it, that it thinks is the best option for me, right? So what we want to do is, we'll now define the career path option. So we'll say there's one class that I'll call career path option, not options. One option, it's a single option, and it will inherit from base model. And what this will have is a career underscore name, which is a string, and a career underscore description, right? So career underscore description, right, which will also be a string. Next, what we'll have is another class called career path options. So these are like various options and nothing but just a list, right? So career path options will have, I'll not pick this, I'll just say careers. So these are the various careers that are available, and it's a list of career path option, right? uh, I'm not picking the name, GitHub Copilot suggested. Next, what we'll do is we'll say there has to be one selected career path, right, which the model thinks is the best career path. So I'm going to create a selected career path, which is nothing but base model inherited class, and has a career name which will be basically optional. Sometimes the model might not return back anything. If it doesn't, that's also okay. So and it is none, right? So this is how our Pydantic models for career path options are set. Now that my this is done, I'll now select define a parser. So parser for me is when we imported above, right? We imported a Pydantic output parser. So I'm going to make use of that now. So I'm going to say, hey, this is my Pydantic output parser, and my Pydantic object is the selected career path, right? So basis this is what my parsing should happen, right? That's what I'm trying to do here. Now with all of this done, let's get started with building our Streamlit app, right? So my Streamlit app, there is a title I want to give, and if we are just recreating this, uh, if you look at it, my career path recommendation system is what my title is. So I'm going to go with the same one. You can pick whatever you want. So my title is career path recommendation system, and then next what I'm doing is I'll now have these input fields, right? So these input fields that you see, these are the ones that I want to now make, right? So we have, if you look at it, we have one text box, text area, second text area, third text area, right? And then one button. So this is what we want to build. So I'll go out and say, hey, st.title. Next, we want to define the input fields. So input fields. So input field is, I'll just first give it a header, and we'll say enter your personal information. If I write, yeah. So enter your personal information. That's what I'm naming it. I'm just recreating. You can have whatever you wish to have. That's my st.header. And now in whatever we want to capture, we'll say it's in personal underscore info. That's the variable name, and it will be a text area, right? So st.text area. Here, what you want to do is you want to say personal info, and you want to give it a placeholder, right? So we'll give it a placeholder. We'll say placeholder should be any text that you basically want it to have. I'm going to just say, hey, placeholder is enter your skills, education, education, uh, any soft skills you have. I think I need to disable this. It keeps telling me what it is expecting. I know already because it's seeing a comma, and that's why that's getting triggered. Maybe I'll not add a comma. Soft skills, any career aspirations you have or career goals, and career goals, right? So next, what we'll do is this is our placeholder, and we'll say, hey, the height is. It's getting slightly tough to type if it doesn't show me what I'm typing. Height is 200, right? So personal info is done. So with this, I'll just now save this, and what we'll do is I'll also come to the terminal, and maybe we'll run this app, right? Let's just see what comes back on the screen, right? So in order to run any Streamlit app, you say Streamlit, Streamlit run, and whatever is the name of the file, right? So mine is main.py. Let's just run it. This is ideally, this is an incomplete app right now. It's not doing anything. And I think, yeah, it's there is some problem for sure. It's not loading only. Uh, it's running. I don't know what is running. uh, Maybe I'll not run this right now, and we'll come back to it. Something might not be right, and I don't want to get into the debugging path right away. Though I was expecting it to show me something, it's not. We'll get into it in a while, right? So at least two headers should have come. Now, what we'll do is I'll now collect. So personal info is corrected. Now I'll add another st dot header, and I'll say enter your enter your previous project experience, right? So enter your previous project experience, and I'm going to say previous experience. Now this could be anything, right? It could be that you are maybe a student, or you are already working somewhere, right? And you have some projects in your resume that you want to talk about, right? And basis that, you are at that junction in your life where you want to pick a new career path, right? So maybe you have a very multifaceted kind of a role, which most of the startups offer, like ours, where developers who are freshers, they come in and we give them like a full blown experience. Same way, you could be in that kind of a place where you have front end experience, back end experience, even a DevOps experience. And you are now, maybe as you mature, as you grow higher in experience, you want to pick one path, right? So it could be that. So previous experience is again a text area. I'll just copy this entire thing again. uh, I'll just copy this thing and name the variable as previous underscore experience, and we'll change this personal info. Instead of personal info, we are going to say previous experience, and the placeholder will also change. Now my placeholder should say enter your previous project experience, right? So that could be my thing. Any challenges, aspirations, etc., should all come here, like challenges that you face, any aspirations you have. All of that is part of my placeholder now, right? So the second one is also done. Now what we'll do is we'll have the third one, which is the what are the various career path options. So we have collected person's personal information, like their education, their certification, what kind of work they have done. And now we are saying, hey, what are the various career path options that you want to pick from, right? So enter career path options, and here again it will be the same way. It is a text area, so I'm just going to copy the same thing, come here and rename this variable to career path options. And this is instead of previous experience, this becomes career path options. And my placeholder should now be enter the various career paths that you are interested in, right? So with this, my three text area boxes are done. Now what I want to do is, whatever the user will input, I will now there should be a button, right? So we can have st dot button, and we'll say the button should be called what is it called here? Get career path recommendation. So we'll call it the same, get career path recommendation. So this is what my button will be called. Now you will see that the button is there. But if you want actually to, when the button is pressed, you want something to happen, then the way to do it in Streamlit is we'll say if st dot button, and here if this button is pressed, then what I want to do is I want to say, hey, careers is equal to, basically parse this, right? So parse this from career path options, right? So whatever are the various career paths, I want this parsing to happen, and as part of it the LLM call also has to happen, right? So we are at this point where we have gathered the input data. We now want to build a prompt and send it, right, to the model. So what I'm doing is careers is parse. Careers should be, let's just say, hey, there should be a method called parse career paths. So I'm going to create that method now, and we'll send it whatever career path options the user has given us. So I'll just create this method now. So we'll say def career path, def career path, parse career path, sorry, parse career paths, def parse career path, and it will take some input. So we are going to give it an input saying, hey, what are the various, whatever is the text, whatever is the input text, I'm going to give this text to the method. And now I want to parse this, right? So I'm going to say my career paths, I want to create a list which is an empty list. Then what I'll do is I'll say lines is equal to, I want to basically because the user can, what are we doing here? So if you look at it, these are the various career paths, right? The user is going to enter various things in maybe a numbered thing. So I want to a numbered list, and I want to grab all of that, right? So I'm writing a parser for that. So right, so my lines is input underscore text. So I want to split this as soon as I see a new line, I want to split it. And for I in range 0 to len of lines, comma 2, I'll say if I plus 1 is less than lines, then what I want to do is, I'm right now writing just the parser, right? Very simple thing. I'm saying lines of I dot strip, and here, because there can be numbers, so I'll just say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, and then a dot, and I want to strip on this, and again strip, right? So this becomes the name. Then the description is lines of I plus 1 dot strip, and I want to have a dot, yeah. So I'll have a dot, and next what I want to do is again strip, right? So my description is also there. Now I want to say career paths, and I'll append the career path in the list, right? So career paths dot append, and I'll say career path option, career name is name, career description is description, right? So the name that we got and the description, I'm making an object of career path option, and I'm basically adding that to the career paths list, right? So I'm adding that to the list. Why am I getting okay, right? So this is what we have done. Sorry, I think I, yeah. So career paths dot append, and next what we want to do is come out of the loop, and then return career path options. Whatever are the career path options, I will say careers is equal to career paths, and we are going to basically return this, right? So because career path options, if you look at it, is basically a list. So I'm just returning it, giving it careers and returning it back, right? So that's what I've done. So we basically, with the various with this parsing method, we took whatever was the input, and now we are returning the various career path options that the user has proposed, right? So, and we have given it a name, we have given it a description, and we have created a list and bundled it in a career path options, and now that's what this method is going to return back, right? So I hope this is clear till now. And now, if any part, guys, if any part where you have difficulty understanding the code, write it down in the comments. I'm generally very quick in responding back, because I eagerly wait for any comment that comes. So if you have any comment, please share, and I'll try to respond as soon as I can, right? uh, Now with this done, what we'll do is we'll say, hey, my careers is now parsed, so I the careers is available, and when the button is clicked, I now want to have a system prompt, right? Because when the button is clicked, I want to first create the input, and then now I want to also send that input out to the model, right, to LLM. So I'm saying, say, hey, create the system prompt. So I'm going to create a system prompt. My system prompt is system message prompt template dot. So if you remember, we did not import system message chat prompt. So we'll also import the system message chat prompt template. So once you have that, we'll say system prompt is system message prompt template, and from here we now want to define what this model should behave like, right? So we're going to say from template, and give it the three, right? So within this, now let's add whatever we want the model to work like, right? Whatever the system to behave like. So I'm going to say I am a student who is looking to join a company and start my career. Uh, you are you are basically you are going to help me decide. You are going to help me decide uh, a best career move, decide a best career move for me by acting like, okay, it should have started from by acting like a career coach, career advisor, okay. And Now what we'll do is we'll add whatever we have collected, right? So what is it that we collected? We collected the personal information. So we should have things like, here is my personal information, including skills, my education, aspirations, and all of that. Skills, education, certification, certification, uh, and my career goals, soft skills, career goals, right? So, and this will pass in as a personal underscore. Sorry guys, this is a mess. Maybe just reduce the size, and say personal underscore information, right? So this is now my personal info. What did we call the variable? Personal info is what we called it, and this is what the user entered as part of the first text box, right? So if you remember, this is what the user has entered, right? So we are going to call it personal info. Now come back and start adding the previous experience. So here is my previous experience, challenges, and GitHub Copilot is doing a fabulous job. It has already filled it up. I'll add a new line break here, right? So I'll add two new line breaks here, and I'll also add two new line breaks here, right? So with this now, uh, I'll also add some more useful information. So I am looking for a career path that leverages my current skills, aligns with my aspirations, aligns with my aspirations and goals, and helps me grow, right? And helps me grow in the technology field, right? So something like this. Next, I'll give it the task. So my task is simple. My task is, you will be given a list of career paths that I am interested in, and you must help me decide which one to pursue, okay? You must help me decide. Let's just put a enter here, come here. You must help me decide which one to pursue. Please consider my preferences, etc. Do consider my preferences and all the various inputs I have given. Okay. So with this, my prompt is in a way getting closed. I have now given it all the information, and now what I want to do is I want to ask it that, hey, only respond in the only respond. Really struggling with typing right now. Only respond with the winning career path, right? With the best career path, something like that, right? So and here what we'll do is we'll now uh, the way you would have seen is you will give the format instructions, right? So this becomes my format instructions. So we'll pass the format instructions here, and with this now uh, my my prompt is ready. And what we'll now do is we'll just say we'll now create a LangChain runnable, and we'll start passing it. So this is done. So I hope this was clear. There was a lot of to and fro because finding it slightly hard with the typing. This is all inside the if block, so let me just align it properly. Yeah. So now I'm a student who is looking to join a company, um, by acting like a career advisor, right? So by acting like a career advisor, here is my personal information, education, certification, personal info, previous experience. I'm looking for a career path, format instructions. Yeah. So all of that is done. Now let's just say, hey, with this done, let's say, again, we have to be within the if clause, so don't forget that. So my prompt is equal to chat prompt template, and we are going to say from messages and pass it the system prompt, right? So this is my prompt. So I'm passing it the system prompt, and next we'll say model is chat open AI, and we'll say temperature should be zero point 0.7, and we'll bind this thing to the response format, right? So response format has to be um, type of JSON, right? So it has to be a JSON object. That's what we are informing this model, that hey, your responses should be like this. Maybe next what we'll do is we'll say we'll create the chain. So chain, if you remember, is nothing but prompt. You pipe it to the model and you pipe this thing to the parser, right? So we have defined all of these. Now let's just quickly define the input that we are going to send, right? So our input is a dictionary. We are saying personal info is personal info, previous experience. Then we are saying careers, not career paths but careers, and I'm just saying careers.json, so I'll pass it a JSON. And we are also giving it a format instruction, right? So format instructions, and this is nothing but parser dot get format instructions, right? So this is what we have used here in the prompt template. This becomes my input. Next what we'll do is we'll just define how many iterations we want. So iterations is equal to, maybe we'll start with 100, and we'll say max concurrency is equal to 5, right? So I'll start with 100 iterations and 5 concurrency, and we should say that results is chain.batch, and we are going to batch inputs to this thing. We are going to say, hey, this is a list of input that I'm sending to you. I'll multiply this thing with whatever is the iterations we want. So simple list multiplication. With this we now have lot more inputs available, and we are going to say max concurrency is max concurrency, right? So not like this, sorry. It has to be if you want to see what I'm doing, go to LLM, go to LangChain chain.batch. If you just do LangChain chain.batch, you will see that there are these three standard interfaces: stream, invoke, and batch. I'm using the batch one. So with batch, usually you are able to send multiple list items. I'm just doing the same, and you can even specify a config saying, hey, what is the max concurrency? This exact same thing is what I want to use here, right? So I have given my input, and I'm now giving my the config saying, hey, max concurrency has to be max concurrency, right? So I have a variable, so I'm going to make use of the variable instead of hard coding, right? So this way now my results are done, right? So this will define the results. With the results done, now we want to process the results, right? So we are at this point where the model would have run, and now we want to just process the result and display. So maybe the last 5 lines of code that we have to write is what we'll do is we have the results ready. I now want to go out and create a data frame, right? So whatever results are coming back, first, before getting the data frame, let me just say results is equal to r. So I'm just going doing a loop comprehension, like list comprehension for r, r in results. If r dot career name is not none, right? So I'm just creating a results again only for those where it's not none, right? So sometimes the none can come. I'm just removing those nuns, right? Next, I'm saying career underscore names is equal to career underscore name, career underscore name for career in results, right? So I have all of this. I'm now, first I created the results, now I'm again looping through and picking each career and just creating a list of career names, right? So now what we want to do is I want to create and display the data frame, right? So I have a pandas data frame that I want to make use of. So I'll say pd.data frame, and it will have career underscore names, and our columns will be called career paths, right? So I'm calling the column as career path, right? Next, what I want to do is I'll say, hey, result underscore df is df of career path dot value counts. So whatever is the count of each career path, it's going to take that and reset the index. Next, I'll say result dot df columns, result underscore df dot columns career path, and I'm now creating this data frame. Basically, I'm just creating this data frame, right? So there is a counts and there is a relative percentage. So I'm it's simple pandas data frame manipulation that I'm now doing, and I'm also saying result underscore df and giving a relative percentage uh, is equal to, next, result underscore df. We are going to take each count and we are going to divide this by the counts, right? So result underscore df counts dot sum, right? So that's what we want to do. What happened? Results underscore df, oh sorry, this is result underscore df. Should have been results underscore df, might have been a better name, but it's all right, right? So results underscore df into 100 is what I'm doing here, just to get the percentages, right? So with this done, now I just want to create the last section, which is this section where I'm just displaying this data frame, right, on Streamlit. So all of the data is prepared. Let's come back here and say st.header and career path recommendation. So we'll say career path recommendation, and I'm now just going to print the data frame, right? So st dot data frame, you have a st dot data frame, and you can just pass it the data frame, right? So with this, my code is now done. Next step is just to run it. So let's just do that now. So I'll open my terminal now. We'll go to the terminal, and I'm just going to take this up, and we have, it's a Streamlit app, so I'm going to say Streamlit run main.py, and now it should load. Yeah, so you can see now I have this thing where I have three boxes and a button, right? So if I just press this, let's see what happens, right? Maybe it will not, it should ideally not come back. Maybe there can be a check saying, hey, if the boxes are empty, don't do anything, right? Right now it's trying to call the LLM, I don't know what the LLM is going to respond back with, because there's hardly anything, right? So and I think I got an error because there was nothing, right? So so let's not send the empty thing. Let's now quickly fill it with the values. So I already have the values ready. I'll just pick them from my previous demo that I showed you. What I'm going to do is, too many windows, I'm just going to close this. Um I have the project description and everything written. So I'm just going to take that and copy it here. You can build your own career path descriptions basis whatever you think is right. I'm just picking what I have, right? So I've copied, come back here. Uh, Sorry. So, personal info. I'm a software developer with versatile background in various areas. Over the years, I've developed a strong skill set. I have experience in creating. Maybe what I'll do is I'll change the prompt, because in the prompt I have something called as that. Hey, I'm a student, right? So I don't want it to be to act like a student when I'm not a student here. So I'll just say, hey, I am a working professional who's looking to join a company and switch career paths to who's looking to switch career paths, uh, or find the optimal career path for myself, right? So I've just changed it from student to someone who's an experienced guy, because my description is of that. If your description is of a student, go ahead and add that, right? So what I've done is first given it something, then said, hey, in front end I have done this, in back end I've done this, DevOps I've done something, database management I've done something else, these are the various certifications I have, these are my soft skills, right? So a very comprehensive list. And now I'm just going to give it what are the various projects I have worked in. So enter your previous project experience, and here I have that, developed an e-commerce website, developed a RESTful API for mobile app, implemented a CI/CD pipeline, migrated a monolithic application to microservices. What are the various challenges, aspirations, right? And now I'll give it the various career paths that basically I have worked in, or maybe one of the path that I can pick, right? And this is where our parsing logic will actually kick in. So full stack develop and maintain both front end and back end, DevOps engineer, cloud solution architect, back end developer, and I'll now ask it, right? So I've just pressed the button, and if you see the code, what must be happening is that, it is going to take 100 iterations at a 5 concurrency and send it to the model, right, for output to come back. It's still running. It shows here that it is running. Keep an eye on the terminal. Um, Keep an eye on the terminal just to see if something goes wrong. Yeah, something has gone wrong. So it says counts is not available. Let's just quickly look at the code. What could be wrong? So going back to the code, uh, okay, so here what is happening is it says, hey, counts is not a key, right? So, and clearly what we did is we gave these things as the column name. So one simple change, instead of count it should be counts. Press control S, command S, that will save the file. Source file changed, rerun. And now when I run again, right, so when I do rerun, and when I do a career path optimization, career path recommendation again, now it should again make a call, right? So go back again to your terminal just to see if things are all right. uh, and Okay, let's see if I'm still. And this time it is come back and it says, hey, of the 100 runs that it did, DevOps engineer is picked up as a best career path 84% of the times, right? So only I think only 98 came back as not none. So 85% of the time it believes is this is the best option for me. Maybe I'll run this again, get career path recommendation. And now what is happening is, and we can even increase the iterations, right? We are doing 100 iterations, we can do 120 iterations, maybe concurrency can be increased to 10. So we can try that as well. uh, Let it come back, and then this time let's see. Okay, this time it gave full stack developer also some chance, but again, even in this run, it still thinks, again, some for some reason only 98 are happening. So 82% of the time it still thinks DevOps engineer. For this kind of a profile, DevOps engineer is a better choice, right? So that's what the model believes. Now, this we are making a call on GPT 3.5 Turbo. You can make it on GPT-4, GPT-4o, and see how the results change, right? Now, let's just quickly. I'll quickly show you how what happens when you increase the iterations and what challenges you can run into when you do that. So now let's just quickly go back to our code. Increase the number of iterations, right? So I'll show you. I'll just take this down. Uh, that hey, let's make the iterations as 200 and max concurrency. Oops, something went wrong. I had changed the names a little bit, and I think that got undone. Just going to do a redo. Yeah. So max concurrency I'm setting as 200, and sorry, iterations I'm setting as 200, and max concurrency I'll set as 10, right? So now let's see what happens when I do this, right? And then I'll explain you where the challenge is. It's now trying to make a call. Let's be on the terminal as well, just to see. The errors will usually show up here first. If there are any errors, it's still, is it running? No, I think it did not run. It's running now, right? So whenever it is running, you will see a run here, right? So wait for that. It's running. Or what you can do is you can even do some custom prints just to show you that, hey, is something running or not. um, so this is still running, and now this time some error has come back, right? So let's just quickly see on the screen, because the it should have the error here. So it says rate limit reached for GPT 3.5 Turbo. So I have a rate limit, right? So tokens per minute, only 160,000 tokens can be sent. And if you go to platform.openai, this is where you can see all the limits, and you will realize where what kind of challenge I'm running into, right? So go into usage, and if you go into usage, increase limit, right? So let's just say click on that increase limit. It will show you which tier you are in. So let's say I'm in usage tier 3. So usage tier documentation, if you look at it, usage tier 3, I'll select 3 here. So usage tier 3, I have a limit of, on GPT 3.5 Turbo, I have a limit of 160,000 tokens per minute. But on GPT 4o, I have same thing at 600,000, right? So if I say, hey, use GPT 4o as the model, then things will be slightly different. So let's try that. So coming back into the code, we'll go to the point where we have defined the model, and against temperature of 0 point, let's just say the temperature should be 0. Let the temperature be 1, right? It's completely okay. I'll say model is GPT-4o, right? So I'm now specifically saying, hey, the model is GPT-4o, because we looked at the rate limit, and I can do 600,000 tokens. I can only do 5,000 requests in a minute, but 5,000 is still a big number for me. And tokens per minute, 600,000, right? So we were getting capped at this because we were sending maybe more tokens. Now come back here, increase this, right? So I'm now at 200, and concurrency is at 10. Let's make a call now and see what comes back. So I have my data filled in, get career path recommendation. It's running. Let's see if it sees if there are any challenges as far as the thing goes. So far, no, looks okay. This is an old error that we are seeing here. Um, Still running. Okay, I think the responses have come. And now if you look at it, I sent the request to ChatGPT 4o, GPT 4o, and the response is very different. It's not asking me to become a DevOps engineer. It's saying, hey, become a full stack developer if you can, right? 89.5% of the times it believes a full stack developer is a better choice for this youth, right? Whoever is trying to find a new career path. So guys, this was it. I hope you learned something new. If you did, please, my humble request is, do comment, like, share, subscribe. It really helps my channel and motivates me to keep making such content. Thank you so much. This is what we built today. any challenges you have, anywhere you feel that you did not get, you could not understand what was happening, please do comment, and I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you.